Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. What's the story? Chika had that major headline.
Yes, I have a story on viable airports. Governors are getting knocks. As 6 states have sunk 160 billion naira into unviable airports. Now, according to this report, 6 state governments, including Ekiti, Ebonyi, Jigawa, Yobe, Nasarawa, and Bayelsa, have spent about 160 billion naira on airport projects that opposition politicians on the one hand, and then aviation professionals have classified as unviable. Now, stakeholders have said that these huge funds that were expended on the facilities have amounted to waste, and they're now condemning the state governors and asking Nigerians to hold them responsible for the waste. Some industry players are now saying, well, we can convert these facilities into skill acquisition centers on behalf of the citizens. Now, according to the checks, 6 states spent over 160 billion, but the facilities have not attracted a considerable number of aircraft for charter or commercial purposes. It also goes on to list some other airports that are now being designated as cargo airports. This list is comprehensive.
Because the governor, very irresponsible.
Legacy projects.
It's not legacy.
Yeah, that's the intention itself, yeah.
It is selfish because you want to be able to fly private jets from your state to Abuja and to other cities because your roads are bad.
Most of them did not even build
Some were left halfway.
It is corruption. It's either you finish your legacy project and you call you airports built by so and so, or you use it, you start it, big projects,
the commissioning.
There's also a problem with continuity.
Money siphoned that nobody accounts for.
I mean, in other countries, people like they would have been arrested. Just call them up and just throw them in
reckless project.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, on Tuesday gave the assurance that the police would rescue all Nigerians who are in captivity, especially in the hands of kidnappers. Egbetokun, according to a statement by his first PRO, that's Muyiwa Dijobi, stated this yesterday while appraising the effectiveness of the well-coordinated operations for the rescue of the 20 University of Maiduguri and Plateau State University medical students who were abducted in Benue while on their way to a conference in Enugu State. If you recall, that happened recently. According to the report on Tuesday by the data collection, we have about 2,149 Nigerians who are currently in captivity. And Egbetokun is insisting that he would ensure that these victims are released as soon as possible. The geopolitical distribution of the kidnapping cases showed Northwest have about 759 of those, the North Central 476, Northeast 408. The North has the most of the numbers. South is 216. Southeast 191 and Southwest 99 cases. So hopefully they can be rescued as soon as possible.
Good news, Lagos State Mass Transit Red Line Rail will begin partial operations today on Wednesday. They announced this by the spokesperson of the Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Kolawole Ojelabi, in a statement on Tuesday. Said the train will convey passengers freely and run for 4 trips a day between Oyingbo and Agbado. The Red Line by Lamata is one of the 6 lines on monorail prescribed for Lagos by the Strategic Transport Master Plan. I'm excited about it, and I'm sure many people that live along that axis, they've been waiting for this to happen. So excited about this. This is a good news. And they said the partial operation is similar to what they did during the test phase of the Blue Rail. It's a major step forward in realizing the Lagos State government's vision of a modern, efficient, integrated, and sustainable transport system.
Vanguard, Agodi in Southeast as kidnappers lay siege to communities. LP, National Working Committee, rejects Governor Oti's move to convene elective INEC. Army to review agricultural policy over food security, says Chief of Army Staff. Insecurity, end the bloodshed, can Sultan urges federal government. Flooding, death toll rises to 170. Injured 2,000, displaced 205,000. And hashtag end bad governance, FG gets 17-point ultimatum. Okay, which story taking the Vanguard?
Let me take the continuation of the Chief of Army Defense Staff. And so the Chief of Army Staff has said that they would review the food security policy of the Nigerian Army. And he said as a way of strengthening its soft power approach to resolving Nigeria's food security challenges, the Nigerian Army will, in the coming days, review the agricultural policy to better position the Nigerian Army Farms and Ranches Limited to significantly boost crop production so that Army can also release grains into the market at highly subsidized rates to support government efforts. Remember, we took the story and I think we made it a hot topic on how this was possible. You know, the Nigerian army has their barracks controlling very vast land mass, and now they'll be utilizing it. We gave the Ojo, when the Senate, the House of Reps member on defense came here and talked about it here on the show. And so now they're looking to improve on that. And so you have more food production from their farms, where, you know, most officers within the barracks will be churning out food through the Nigerian Army Farms and Ranches Limited. And of course, that would get us back to surplus. Yeah,
at least sustainability for within that region itself.
Not just region, but, you know, the states individually. And hopefully we'll get to see the result very soon. Already, market prices are dropping. Tomatoes, this very
but they are threatening us of the flood.
Well, the flood is impacting.
No, market, food day market. Buy your own now.
And store.
Tomato I bought this Leventis tomato, what is it called, UAC, for 28,000 a basket. Last month, it's now 18,000 just yesterday because BC had asked me to find out. And so it's dropping.
So it's time for us to buy.
Let's shop for the rest of the year. Please, let me take the insecurity challenge. The Nigerian Inter-Religion Council, NIREC, under the joint leadership of His Eminence, Archbishop Daniel Okoh, and His Eminence Alhaji Muhammed Abubakar, that's the Sultan of Sokoto, who is the President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, as well as the Archbishop Okoh, who is the President of Christian and Islamic of Nigeria, CAN. And both of them have come in a joint statement to decry the challenges of banditry and kidnapping taking place around the country. They said that the president needs to end bloodshed, citing the 13 farmers that were murdered in Shiroro local government, 150 people that were abducted in Gobir district of Sokoto State, gruesome killings of District Head of Gatawa, Sokoto State as well, and several other killings across the country. There were lots of details of the things that have led them to make this joint appeal to the federal government that there must be a concise effort to end banditry because it has increased over the past few months. And the council will also commiserate with the family of those who've lost loved ones or have people in captivity. They are praying for the safe return of those people that are currently in captivity, and that God will grant the souls of those.
In a very similar story, so tales of woes are also coming from the southeastern part of the nation, according to the report in Vanguard, due to unending spate of kidnappings in the zone. No week, according to the report, no week passes without people being kidnapped in different parts of the 5 states that make up that zone. Stories abound of innocent travelers who are caught in the web of these kidnappers. They were taken away and they were kept while abductors demanded ransom of families. Some were lucky where the ransom was paid. They released others. They paid the ransom, but they were still killed. There's so many of these stories. There were even from the Abia State, the same story. The security situation in Abia witnessed tremendous improvements after the governor has actually intervened in some way. However, the recent killings and attacks in the state have challenged whatever efforts the government is trying to make. So there's quite a lot of cry for help in the southeastern zone. We have to ensure that we need to increase the same concerted efforts to tackle insecurity in that region. Okay, our final paper this morning, the Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story of not taking end banditry, can Sultan urges federal government. Fuel crisis, lepers in Lagos resort to drinking contaminated water. 45 years after ex-rep member refunds federal government's student loan of 1,200 naira with 3.1 million naira. Rivers police launch manhunt for kidnappers director. And no timeline yet for ransom report, says federal government. Okay, which story?
I have that story on the leper community in Lagos resorting to drinking contaminated water. Now, according to the report, this recent scarcity of PMS in Lagos has seen a community of lepers in Alabarago resort. They've resorted to drinking contaminated waters. Now, according to one of the communication scholars in Unilag, Mr. Umar Abdullahi, he revealed that the polluted community well. So there's a well in the community, and that well has now become the major source of water for drinking, cooking, and other chores since the hike of PMS and its recent scarcity. This challenge, according to him, has lingered for more than 6 months as the community is now unable to purchase petrol to actually operate the community borehole plant. So they have one borehole that was provided by an NGO, but they can't use it right now because of the financial cost to operate it. So they rely now on the well to get water. They can even barely manage to contribute money to use the borehole once or twice in a month. So now they are calling on help. They're calling on God exactly to actually help. And you know, it's a very crazy story. They've actually had to use alum in the meantime to purify the water so that at least they can, it's brownish, it's proper brown water. They apply alum and then wait for it to kind of settle and then they use it. And add this to the fact that these are lepers who already have a serious health challenge and they now drink contaminated water. And a huge outbreak can actually spring out of this and of enormous proportion. So sad.
Okay, I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll begin our sponsor segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.